Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the news first where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Tremor experienced in the seas of Batticaloa. No threat to Sri Lanka. 54th session of the UN Human Rights Council to open in Geneva. Who will be the next SLPP presidential candidate? 22 years have passed since the 9/11 attacks that shook the world. India-Pakistan Asia Cup clash to resume. On to those stories in detail. A tremor measuring a magnitude of 4.65 was reported from the seas of Sri Lanka's eastern coast.
A tremor measuring a magnitude of 4.65 was reported from the seas of Sri Lanka's eastern coast. Acting Director General of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, Ajit Prema, told News First that the event had taken place some 310 kilometers away from Batticaloa. He said the event posed zero risk to Sri Lanka and there was no tsunami threat to the island. Tremors were reported from several areas in Sri Lanka in the past few months. On the 10th of February 2023, a minor 3.3 magnitude tremor was recorded from Buttala, Vallavaya area. On the 11th of February 2023, a tremor measuring a magnitude of 2.3 was recorded from Vallavaya. On the 12th of February 2023, several tremors were experienced in Unavatuna, Buttala between 8:45 am and 9 am. Magnitude 3 and 3.5 tremors were reported on the 22nd of February 2023 from Buttala, Palvatta, Anapallama and Vallavaya. On the 18th of March 2023, a magnitude 2.6 tremor was reported from Palatupana and Hajia areas in Kirinda. A magnitude 3 tremor was recorded from Timbirivawa, Gomarang-Kadavala in Trincomalee on the 19th of March. On the 10th of July, Colombo and several surrounding areas experienced a tremor caused by a seismic event in the southern area of the Indian Ocean.
The landslide warning issued to 4 districts was extended again due to the prevailing adverse weather conditions. The National Building Research Organisation stated that landslide warnings have been issued to Kaluthara, Ratnapura, Galle and K-Galle districts. The National Building Research Organisation says that the relevant warning is valid until 4 p.m. today. The Met Department states that showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces and in Kandy and Nuwara districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 50 millimeters, are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Puttlam, Galle and Matara districts. A few showers may occur in Mana, Vavuniya and Anuradhapura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Uva province and in Batticaloa, Ampara districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. The sea areas of the coast extending from Chilau to Trincomalee via Mana and Kankosanture and in the sea areas extending from Hambantota to Pothuwil can be rough at times. Despite the rains in southwestern part of the island, people in many areas are facing an acute drinking water crisis.
The people of 4 villages belonging to the Mahavilachia Grama Niradhari division of Anuradhapura district are suffering without drinking water. News First correspondent said that more than 300 families live in the villages of Gurupathava, Atdatkalla, Millavatia and Alivangua. All these 4 villages have been supplied with the water by a community water source project established in the Immatkalla area. Villagers said that the water motor was out of order, so water could not be supplied from it. The drying up of other water sources in the area has further aggravated the problem. The The people of Kuledand area of Valigama are suffering due to the suspension of water supply. Residents say that the regional office of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has suspended water supply for about a week now. The villagers say that despite informing about this issue, no solution has been provided. When inquired from the Valigama Water Supply Board, they said that they are looking into the matter.
Views were expressed with regard to the revelations made by the Channel 4 program on the Easter Sunday attacks. The incumbent president was the Prime Minister at the time of the Easter attacks. As the president, he has a responsibility to look into this. It is regretful that Saleh remains as the head of the intelligence unit while facing accusations over this. The Defence Secretary appointed by Gotabaya Rajapaksa remains in his post as well. The president must consider if he can go forward with these people in these posts. There's politics behind the murders of Lasantha Vikramatunga and Tajuddin and the Easter attacks. Can a local mechanism reveal the harassment and humanitarian crimes committed through politics? It is very difficult. Tri-forces ended the war, but the government did not end the war. The government sold out the war. The government made the term war hero political. The results were terrible. After that, conflict and mistrusts developed among the Sinhalese and Tamils and Muslims. Racism did what could not be done during the war. It was drawn by religion. It is being proven today with the Easter Sunday attack that it was done in such a cruel and shameful manner. It is not strange that these politicians came to power by using the Easter Sunday attack. It has been revealed that there was a project to bring Gotabaya Rajapaksa to power. Because of that, not only Gotabaya Rajapaksa, but also Pillayans, not only those other people whose names are mentioned, but the entire country has been shamed. Minister of Wildlife and Forest Resources Conservation Pavitra Vanyarachi says the SLPP will emerge victorious at any upcoming election. She was speaking at the SLPP Beliatta Balamandala meeting.
I
believe that making Gotabaya Rajapaksa the presidential candidate was a mistake. His decisions on the fertilizer issue proved to be disadvantageous for us. However, one small mistake will be a setback for our program. We will not let that happen. Be it the presidential election or the parliamentary election, the SLPP will emerge victorious.
The president said he did it best. We will not dispute it. We are alive today because we managed to get 3 doses of the vaccine. The issue, however, is this. At the Salgadu grounds in Anuradhapura, he was told to be more assertive. If not, he would be used. Today we experience a situation because of the lack of assertiveness. There is one link remaining that has the experience of the late grandfather, the father, and uncles Chamal Rajapaksa and Gotabaya. We have a leader who can strengthen the youth by linking the country with the world. If a person below the age of 50 is to contest, there is one person in Beliatta. He is none other than Ramal Rajapaksa. We seek your support in this journey. In more news from the political sphere, Deputy National Organizer of the Samagi Jana Balavegya, S.M. Marikar, says that in order to move the country forward, there is a need for a talented group that works with the people's sentiments. What this country needs today is a social market economic framework. Within that framework, we need a leader who will look at the poor people of this country with compassion, someone who will understand the feelings of the oppressed people. We need a group of creative talent who can create an economic environment that can provide relief to those people. That team should be a team with international connections. Must be a group that has not been changed. We can say without fear. We have no debt, no fear, no theft. So we all decide where the team is. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Sebalapiriya says that systematic steps are being taken to expand the contracted economy.
අපි සංචිත ඍණ වෙලා හිටියේ ඇත්තෙම නෑ. දැන්
The reserves were negative, but now we have reserves close to $3.6 billion. In particular, we have reached the amount mentioned in the agreement with the International Monetary Fund and even reached our goals. In the meantime, we have to use our reserves. Sometimes it is possible to increase the value of the rupee, especially in a situation like this. Even though we say that we are not paying the debt in this situation, we are not paying the foreign bilateral debt. We are settling the other borrowings. What we should look for is the difference between where we were and where we are now. We have been holding close to 3.5 billion USD of reserves since we went negative. Therefore, we are taking the necessary steps to expand the contracted economy.
සඳහා අවශ්‍ය පියවර තමයි
Leader of the United Republic Front, partly Champaka Ranavika, says the country need a proper program to generate dollar revenue in order to solve the crisis. The country's economic reform program is going forward in the midst of an amusing situation. Below the stability that we see is a massive slippage. This country is running out of time. The theme is to create a prosperous country by 2048. However, this prosperity will reach an empty country. The issues of this country have not ended. We have defaulted on our debt, and what we are experiencing now is temporary. However, we will have to settle our debt. The IMF delegation will arrive soon. We will have to reach an agreement with our debtors. To settle our dues, we need to generate dollars. But there seems to be no program at all. I do not think the president has a proper understanding of the issues faced by the people.
මම හිතන්නේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට අනික් අයට පළල් අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා කියලා රටේ මිනිස්සු මුහුණ දීලා තියෙන මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ගැන.
The Intercompany Employees Union said that looting superannuation funds is a violation of fundamental rights.
මේ වෙනකොට බිලියන 8722ක්
By the end of December 2022, it was 8,722 billion. They've taken treasury bonds. 43% of it was taken from superannuation funds. When the government issues bonds to borrow at the same time, it could be superannuation funds, insurance companies, banks and private investors. They invest the same bond to lend to the government. When they invest, they all get the same interest. The coupon rate is the same. 9% bonds are only issued for superannuation funds. Fundamental rights have been violated. The Wickramasinghe government has used the power in parliament to violate the fundamental rights and loot the funds of the working people of this country. This is a historic theft and they should be punished before the People's Court. This case should be heard before the People's Court. The Monetary Board, including Nandalal Veerasinghe, who is involved in this theft, should be punished in public courts.
මේ කොල්ලේට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච නන්දලාල් වීරසිංහ ඇතුළු මේ මුදල් මණ්ඩලයට මහජන අධිකරණවල දඬුවම් ලැබිය යුතුයි.
In one of your headline-making stories, the 54th session of the Human Rights Council will open at the Palais Nations in Geneva. The 54th regular session will take place from the 11th September to 13th October 2023.
The 54th session of the Human Rights Council will open at 10 a.m. on Monday, the 11th of September, under the presidency of Ambassador Václav Balek of the Czech Republic. The opening will be addressed by the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk. During the session, the Council will hold 29 interactive dialogues with special procedure mandate holders, expert mechanisms and investigative mechanisms. Sri Lanka will be represented at the UNHRC by a delegation led by Himali Subhashini Arunatilaka, the permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations office at Geneva. Sri Lanka's foreign ministry said that there will be no political representation from Sri Lanka for the 54th session of the Human Rights Council.
An arts exhibition portraying the works of art by incarcerated prisoners opened at the Colombo Public Library. An arts exhibition portraying the works of art by incarcerated prisoners themed Siranovu Situam was opened by Governor of the Western Province, Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka. Prisons Commissioner General Tushar Upuldenija, prison spokesperson Chandana Ekanayaka, Chairman of the Prisons Welfare Union Austin Fernando, among others, were present. The art exhibition was organized to coincide with the National Prisoners' Day, falls on September 12th. The exhibition is open to the public from 9 a.m. Day 20 of the second leg of the LOLC Divisavya program took place, centering the Madu and Mana education zones in the Mana district. The LOLC Divisavya program is taking place to support the Sri Lankan student population, and the second leg of the program aims to provide school books and stationery free for 1 year for government schools with less than 100 students. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC Group and the Ministry of Education. Students from the Puducherry Government Muslim Mixed School, Ilahathipidi Roman Catholic Tamil Vidyalaya and Saveriyapuram Roman Catholic Tamil Vidyalaya were provided with school books and stationery. In addition, school books and stationery were delivered to the Karadekuli Government Muslim Vidyalaya and the Madu Zonal Education Office. The LOLC Divisavya program will continue to support the future of the Sri Lankan student population. The annual festival of the Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil is taking place in Jaffna for the 22nd day. To coincide with the celebrations, the Nallur studio by Shakti TV will also be declared open.
One of the key elements of the annual festival of the Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil is the Dandayudapani festival. The Dandayudapani festival takes place to highlight the dispute between two gods. Sri Lanka's first ever Tamil language television channel Shakti TV will open its special studios in Nallur to coincide with the celebrations. Religious and cultural items will take place at this special studio for 3 days. In addition, News First and Shakti TV screen tests will also take place at the premises.
Shifting your attention to international news, Morocco faces a race against time to save those trapped under the rubble by Friday's earthquake as emergency services battle to supply remote areas.
Villagers continue to dig by hand and shovel to find survivors as response teams struggle to bring in machinery. Those same tools may now be needed to prepare graves for some of the thousands killed in the quake. Friday's earthquake, the country's deadliest for more than 60 years, struck below a remote cluster of mountainous villages south of Marrakesh. The government reported that at least 2,122 people were killed and more than 2,421 injured, many critically. The 6.8 magnitude tremor collapsed homes, blocked roads and swayed buildings as far away as the country's northern coast.
US President Joe Biden has denied that the US is attempting to stem China's international influence after signing a new historic deal with Vietnam.
More than 50 years since the last American soldier left Vietnam, Biden traveled to Hanoi to sign the agreement that will bring the former foes closer than ever before. The comprehensive strategic partnership with Vietnam is a major relationship upgrade for the US. It is the culmination of a relentless push by Washington over the last 2 years to strengthen ties with Vietnam, which it sees as key to counter China's influence in Asia. It is also no small feat. The partnership with Washington is the highest level of diplomatic ties extended by Vietnam, one of China's oldest and staunchest friends.
Americans are looking back on the horror and legacy of 9/11, gathering at memorials, firehouses, city halls and elsewhere to observe the 22nd anniversary of the deadliest terror attack on US soil. Stretched from the attack sites at New York's World Trade Center, the Pentagon and Shanksville, Pennsylvania to Alaska and beyond. President Joe Biden is due at the ceremony on a military base in Anchorage. At Ground Zero, Vice President Kamala Harris is due to join the ceremony on the National's September 11th Memorial and Museum Plaza. The event will not feature remarks from political figures, instead giving the podium to victims' relatives for an hours-long reading of the names of the dead. First Lady Jill Biden is due to lay a wreath at the 9/11 Memorial at the Pentagon. In your sports news, after the group match between India and Pakistan was washed out, intermittent rain pushed the Asia Cup Super 4 clash between the two teams to a reserve day. India were 147 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in 24.1 overs when heavy rain lashed at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Pakistan skipper Babar Azam won the toss and invited India to bat first on the R. Premadasa pitch in Colombo. Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill walked out to open the Indian innings. The duo posted 121-run partnership with Shubman Gill reaching his 8th half-century and Rohit Sharma recording his 50th half-century in the longer format of the game. Virat Kohli and Lokesh Rahul remained at the crease when the match was stopped due to rain. The umpires decided to call off the game yesterday and the match will resume from 24.1 overs from 3 p.m. today. The match can be watched live on TV1, the official broadcaster of the tournament, and www.sirasatv.lk. South Africa opened the defence of their World Cup title with a second-half physical bombardment that Scotland simply could not withstand in their Pool B opener in Marseille. South Africa kicked off their Rugby World Cup defence with an 18-3 win over Scotland thanks to a dominant second-half display. Scotland slipped to defeat in their World Cup openers as defending champion South Africa put in a typically ruthless and powerful display in Marseille. Only 3 points split the sides after a physical first half, but the Springboks pulled away after the breaks thanks to Peter Step du Toit and Kurtley Arenza tries. It soon became clear that this would be a bruising match filled with almighty collisions as the two sides clattered into each other from the first whistle. A 15-point lead proved insurmountable for the Scots as they were kept at bay by the Boks side, who many have drawn as favourites to retain the trophy. That's a wrap of news. Take care and good day.